we're going to talk about the Heart Sutra. It's called the Heart Sutra for 3 reasons. One is the heart of a much larger Mahaprajnaparamita Sutra. 2 is the heart of all Buddha's teaching. 3 is talking about our pure heart, the Buddha nature. In the beginning of the sutra, it says, when Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was practicing the profound prajna paramita, he illuminated the 5 skandhas and saw that they are all empty, and he crossed beyond all suffering and difficulty. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva is who we call Guanyin Bodhisattva. He was practicing profound prajna paramita. What is prajna? Prajna is supreme unique wisdom, and paramita is from this shore of suffering to the other shore of nirvana. So we need to practice this prajna. There are actually 3 kinds of prajna. One is the prajna of language. The words that we see here in the sutra, that is prajna of language. 2 is the prajna of contemplative illumination. We need to contemplate on the words. Then we will reach number 3, the prajna of characteristics of actuality. Our true nature, we call the real mark or actuality. So we need to have the words, then the contemplation to reach the actuality. Just like we have a car and we have a driver, then we will reach the destination. This prajna is called profound because it's not superficial wisdom or intellect. It's actually totally aligned with our true treasury of Tathagata, our true Buddha nature. That's why it's called profound. What do we see with this prajna? We actually see the emptiness of our 5 skandhas, the body and mind we're using right now. It's not the true self. So that's what we see when we really have the wisdom. It goes on to say that the 5 skandhas are empty, no form, feeling, cognition, formation, or consciousness. This body is called the form. We have feelings of pleasure and displeasure. We have our perception, and we have our deeper mental formation, deeper attachment. Then we have our storehouse, the alaya consciousness. None of this is me. All these are just conditioned existence. It goes on further to say there's not the 6 sense organs. No eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, or mind. And there's not the 6 sense objects, no sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, or dharma. Together, the 6 sense organs and the 6 sense objects are called the 12 bases. And then no fields of the eyes up to and including no field of mind consciousness. We have the eye consciousness, ear consciousness, all the way up to the mind consciousness. This is called the 18 rounds of beings. This is how we experience the world. We think this is me, this is my life. But we need to understand that this is not my life. This is not the real me. If you are more attached to the mental experience, we will tell you about the 5 skandhas, because 4 out of 5 is mental. If you are more attached to the physical, then we will tell you about the 12 bases, because 11 out of the 12 are physical. Only the mind is mental. If you're equally attached to the mental and the physical, we will tell you about the 18 rounds altogether. Depending on what you're more attached to, then Buddha tells you different things, only to let you see that they are empty and it's not the real you. When someone has prajna, it doesn't mean they do not hear and do not see and shut off everything. It means they still see and hear, but they use their heart. For example, if someone utters some words that's insulting to us, humiliating us, a saint will hear it differently. In the Shragama Sutra, it tells us how Guanyin Bodhisattva became enlightened. He said, I entered the flow through hearing, forgot objective states. So he entered the flow of his Buddha nature, the treasury of the Tathagata, through the sense of hearing. He forgot all objective states. The hearing with the ears, what is being heard, both disappear. They're empty. Moreover, emptiness and what's being emptied also cease to be. That's when you really see the emptiness of the five skandhas. You will not hear things the same way anymore. It says in the Heart Sutra, Bodhisattva, through reliance on the prajna paramita, is unimpeded in his mind. Because there's no impediment, he is not afraid, and he leaves distorted dream thinking far behind. So a bodhisattva rely on this prajna of emptiness. He has no more impediment in his mind. He's not worried about this person insulting me or humiliating me. He has no more worry or stress about these words. He is not afraid of what other people say or whatever happened to him. That's why he has no more deluded false thinking, the distorted dreamlike thoughts. He leaves it all behind. When you use the prajna, that's when we really live a carefree and happy life. So a true bodhisattva is very flexible, tolerant, full of love and compassion and gratefulness for all sentient beings. They live life through a whole different experience. The top part here is the attachment of the mundane people to the five skandhas. The bottom part is the attachment of the saints to the Dharma. So the Buddha further breaks down our attachment to the Dharma. First, the 12 dependent origination. No ignorance or ending of ignorance up to and include no old age and death or ending of old age and death. The 12 dependent origination starts with ignorance and it ends with the 12th link of old age and death. So there's not the samsara going down or the ending of ignorance or ending of old age and death, the nirvana going up. So none of this is real, just like everything is happening in the dream. Whatever that samsara that's going on in the dream to an awakened person is not important anymore. So we need to see the emptiness to break free from our attachment to the dream. In the Heart Sutra it says, form does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from form. Form itself is emptiness. Empty itself is form. You can replace the form with anything. In here, you can replace it with samsara or nirvana. For example, samsara does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from samsara. Samsara itself is emptiness. Empty itself is samsara. There's no production of samsara, and there is nothing destroyed. You don't destroy the samsara to get nirvana. Samsara is not defiled. Nirvana is not pure. Samsara is not diminishing, and nirvana is not increasing. So we need to break all the duality. That's prajna. Buddha further explained there is not the Four Noble Truths. No suffering, no accumulating, no extinction, no way. So no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path to end suffering. Why? Same thing as here. We can use the same formula. You can put the suffering in the same place. So suffering does not differ from emptiness. Emptiness does not differ from suffering. Suffering itself is emptiness. Empty itself is suffering. And suffering is not produced. And cessation of suffering is not destroying the suffering. Suffering itself is not defiled, and cessation of suffering is not pure, and suffering is not diminishing, and ending of suffering is not increasing. We need to break from all duality of good or bad, or increasing, diminishing. That's when you're really free. So let go of our attachment to the Dharma. Then Buddha says there's no 6 paramitas, no understanding. This is the last paramita. Bodhisattva, they're attached to their 6 paramitas of giving, holding precepts, endurance, diligence, concentration, and wisdom. This understanding is the wisdom. So do not be attached to prajna either. There is no prajna to gain or to have or to cultivate. It is what it is. So let go of our attachment to the understanding, the last pyramid. Lastly, there's no Bodhi to gain. There's no Buddhahood to attain. There's no attaining. So the conclusion is because nothing is attained. So there's nothing to gain, nothing to have, nothing to obtain. When you reach this level of wisdom, you will truly be carefree and you will have no more impediment of any kind and no stress, no worry, no problem. Long ago, Guanyin Bodhisattva already made great vows to save all sentient beings from suffering. But he saw so many of the people that he saved went back to their old ways of greed, anger, and ignorance and kept reincarnating. He felt great despair in his heart, finally gave up and relinquished his Bodhi resolve. At this moment, his body shattered into 1,000 pieces. That's when his teacher, Amitabha Buddha, came to the rescue and told him, remember the emptiness of the self, and all sentient beings are just conditioned existence not to be attached to. That's when he had a moment of epiphany. And his body reconstructed and transformed into 1,000 hands and 1,000 eyes. That's why you see the 1,000 hands and eyes Guanyin Bodhisattva. So have prajna. Do not be attached to anything or anyone. That's when you can really save everybody. In conclusion, all Buddhas of the 3 periods of time attain Anuttara Samya Sambodhi through reliance on prajna paramita. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future attain Buddhahood through prajna. Anuttara Samya Sambodhi means unsurpassable, complete, and perfect enlightenment only through prajna. So reside in your own innate prajna. Let go of the 5 skandhas and let go of your attachment. That's when the 5 skandha is the Buddha. You will realize you have endless potentials. The only impediment is in your own mind. So all things are possible. All conditions can change any moment and any time. So believe in yourself. Just have a compassionate and grateful heart. True emptiness will have wonderful existence. They will happen in the same time. So you can lead a happy, carefree life without any problems or any worries. That's when you found your true heart. That's a class for today. Thank you for listening. Amitabha.